AITA for offering to help my wife with the dishes? My wife, 26F, and I, 26 meters, both work 4 days a week. I work 12-hour shifts and she works 8-hour shifts. She would work more, but our daughter, 1F, needs to be picked up from daycare. I leave for work before they wake up and some days get home after our daughter has gone to bed. This week, our daughter's daycare provider was sick, so my wife took the week off of work to care for her. I worked an extra day to make up for her lost income. So it all worked out fine. Or so I thought. She seemed stressed still, so I asked her what was wrong. She broke down, saying that she is struggling with balancing work, caring for our daughter throughout the week, and keeping our house clean, cooking, etc. I responded calmly by saying that I can't miss work or reduce hours. We simply cannot afford it. She responded by saying she knows that, but it is overwhelming for her, and the house chores are piling up. I told her 90% of the problems with messiness could be solved if she picked up after herself. If she just put the used butter knives in the sink after she was done, and rinsed bottles, cookware, etc. I will happily do the dishes when I get home from work. Hell, I'll even put them away after. But I do not want to play scavenger hunt and look around the house for things to wash. She did not respond to me after I said that other than a quiet okay before going to console our daughter who woke up early from her nap. She still seemed upset with me still. So I vented to my coworker about what happened. He says I was being an asshole because I didn't even listen to what she wanted. I feel like I was perfectly reasonable. Am I the asshole? I responded calmly by saying that I can't miss work or reduce hours. We simply cannot afford it. To paraphrase, your initial response was that the issue she was having a breakdown about was her problem to solve, not yours. She responded. I told her 90% of the problems could be solved if she picked up after herself. You doubled down on it being 90% her problem, not yours. YTA. So your wife is overwhelmed and exhausted with a 1-year-old and you say it would all be okay if she just picked up after herself. Are you kidding me? YTA. Your wife works almost full-time and does all the childcare during her non-working hours multiple times a week. And your response to her feeling overwhelmed is to lecture her about tidying up as she goes? YTA. You completely invalidated her feelings by not even offering a "yeah, it's a lot." You used this as an opportunity to correct her and admonish her instead of offering her support. You also made your help contingent on her doing more. What seems like a small thing to you isn't to her. She's probably literally got her hands full with your daughter and you're telling her how to better clean up after herself than offering to shoulder the burden as you should have. You reap the benefits of her flexible schedule without acknowledging that just because it's easier for her to take off work doesn't mean she's not taking on the more challenging task by staying home with your daughter for a week. What chores do you do? If she's getting your daughter up and putting her to bed because your schedule necessitates it, you should be finding ways to offset that without her needing to tell you she's overwhelmed. I'm astonished that, when she communicated her feelings, you still couldn't step up to the plate. Do better. YTA. You took from that whole thing, the dishes. Clearly it's about a lot more than a damn butter knife in the wrong place. How 90% of her problems are her own fault is stupid lol. I bet 99% that she carries the entire mental load of the household and has baby brain. On days that you work, I imagine she is the one that is basically the sole parent. And probably on days that you don't work, she does the lion's share. You're not the asshole for offering to help with the dishes, but YTA for telling her that 90% of The problems with messiness could be solved if she picked up after herself. Like, what were you thinking? ETA. Your title was misleading. Either you did that on purpose in a weak attempt to garner sympathy, or you are actually that dense. I suspect it's the former. YTA. My mom takes care of my disabled dad. If I get home and my mom is crying because she is rightfully tired, I get immediately to wash the dishes, laundry, or whatever I see that needs to be done, and check if they need groceries. You don't look at an overwhelmed person and tells them it is their fault. You get in action without if, and, but. How big is your house that it would be too hard to pick up dishes from other rooms? How long would it take doing the dishes for 2.5 people? I have hand-washed dishes for 10+ people, including pans, and it takes me about 30 minutes. You are both tired. Yes. But YTA, because you are not really keeping your part as a husband and parent. ETA. I just reread and you work 4 days a week. What do you do the other 3 days? YTA. You seem to think that housework is limited to washing up. What about hoovering, cleaning the bathroom, mopping the kitchen floor, emptying the bins, the endless laundry created by a small child? Your title is misleading. YTA for not reading the room and realizing that your wife just needed a supportive ear. How tone-deaf. Up. And to add injury to insult, you vented to your coworker the literal same thing your wife was trying to do with you. How can you not see that? Stop trying to patronize your wife. Be supportive. She's pulling a lot of weight. YTA. Wow. Got creative with that tile, didn't ya? She is overwhelmed with everything. You only offered to help with one thing. You will help with dishes, but only on your terms. It's like you chose the one chore that would allow you to also tear her even further down. YTA. Your wife told you she's mentally and physically exhausted and is struggling, and your response to her is that it's mostly her fault, but you'll do this one thing for her as long as she makes it easy on you? Dude, it's your child and your house too. Man up and do your share and support your wife. YTA. Your wife is struggling. Just pick up some of the slack while she gets her feet under her. This is an incredibly assholish thing to say. I told her 90% of the problems with messiness could be solved if she picked up after herself. It's kind of staggering. I wouldn't want to talk to you for a while either. Sometimes when you have a kid, both parents have to do more than they want to do. You saying, "I can't work less," is not the issue. She's not asking you to work less. She's asking you to listen and pick up a little more work around the house for a short time until things settle. Info. Are chores split 50-50? Because it seems like you're expecting her to do more than you. Edit. But YTA for the way you said it and phrased the post. Your wife is working a full-time job, has most of the responsibility for your child, and seems to be responsible for all of the housework and cooking as well. Doing the math, that's 4 full-time jobs. When she shared how stressed and overwhelmed she was feeling, you schooled her in how she could better tidy up, as if she hadn't been doing all the work in the home for ages. Then said if she made it super easy for you, i.e., never left a coffee cup in the living room, presumably, you'd do 1 chore a day in the home the two of you share. She didn't challenge you, just said okay quietly and went to take care of your daughter. But maybe because she didn't seem incredibly grateful about your so generous offer, you felt you had to complain about her at work. And even your coworker wasn't on your side. Yes, buddy. YTA. YTA. She was having an emotionally vulnerable moment. That wasn't the time to criticize her, which is what you did. YTA. She's feeling overwhelmed. The last thing she needs is a lecture from you. The response should have been that you will do more to help around the house, and then later, when she's cooled down, you could initiate a conversation about ways that you could both change some of your habits to make the housework more manageable. I know you are working 12-hour shifts, but think about your work-life balance compared to hers. If you go to work and then feel like since you work more hours you're allowed to come home and do nothing, then it's no surprise she's frustrated and you need to do way more than the dishes. If she's working 8 hours, picking up the kid, coming home to cook for all of you, cleaning up after everyone, etc., and is never getting a break from work or from being a mom and a housemaid and a personal chef, of course she's stressed out. When you're constantly overworked and exhausted mentally and physically, of course you're gonna start developing bad habits. Many times when someone is in a bad headspace, you can see it reflected in their surroundings, because they don't have the capacity to do those small things like picking up after yourself as you go. Be more compassionate to your wife. Also, IDK what you're talking about going on a scavenger hunt for things to wash. So if the chore isn't conveniently set up for you to do, then you can't do it. Seems petty. It's reasonable to ask her to be more mindful about picking up after herself, but you need to be more supportive. She's not mad at you for offering to wash dishes. She's mad that she was venting about being overwhelmed with keeping up with everything, and you responded by pointing out one of her failings. But I do not want to play scavenger hunt and look around the house for things to wash. I myself do not understand people who leave empty glasses, plates and whatever around the house. But I'm not caring for an infant. Some things are going to slip down the priority list when you have a baby to care for. You should have assured her that she's getting the really important stuff right and simply asked what you could do to help out more. Instead, you made her feel much worse. Your coworker is right. YTA. If collecting dishware and putting it in the dishwasher is what helps your wife, you should do that. YTA. She confided in you and your response is, well, you're a slob and it's all your fault and I can't possibly help unless you do 95% of the work first. Be better. Info. Is she hiding the butter knives around the house? Why are you incapable of collecting things from the counter and then washing them? YTA. You took a very vulnerable moment when your wife was confided in you that she was overwhelmed to criticize her and say it was 90% her own fault. I'm not going to disagree that the things you say seem to be logical. But you've presumably been together several years at least at this point. You've had every opportunity to offer constructive criticism, waiting until she's having a breakdown to basically say, well, it's all your fault. But if you change, then I'll help out a bit more too. You no doubt made her feel more overwhelmed right now. When someone is at rock bottom and opening up about not coping, they need you to listen, not have a go at them. You could have tackled it by saying, okay, this weekend let's really focus together on catching up with all the housework that's piling up, and then we'll have a chat about it. Then, when the house is clean, she's not feeling overwhelmed, that is the time to have a chat about how you got to that place in the first place and what can be done about it in the future by both of you. Because a successful marriage is teamwork, not telling someone they're doing it wrong.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.